What's going on? Play Gaming here, back with another Epic 7 video, and today we're going over the update for November 24th, starting off with the AESPA collaboration. It is starting on November 24th, and it's going to go all the way up until January 5th. So this is going to be around for a while. So hopefully we have enough time to save and enough time to pull every single unit from the collab. But it does look like the very first unit you will have to be pulling with Covenant bookmarks, but there is a special type of Covenant bookmark that they're gonna be giving away for free. So we'll see how that plays out. But it looks like we will be able to start changing the lobby. So goodbye Krau, right? No more pub, but you're going to be able to choose, I think, like between like characters and illustrations. And I think the very first one that they're going to give us is the collab side story background, which actually looks kind of cool, right? It looks kind of cool. And you know, with the side story, there's going to be currency, there's going to be bonuses for pulling the heroes and using them in the side story, starting with winter, right? So you'll be able to use them in the side story if you decide to kind of wait it out. It's going to be rough because you always want at least one of each collab unit, and they do look pretty cool. So I'm going to be picking up every single one. Hopefully they give us at least one for free, which I'm pretty sure they have to give us at least one unit for free, right? They can't, surely they can make us pull for every single collab unit here. Rip my bookmarks, right? But I think this side story is going to be pretty interesting. If you saw my previous video, which talked about the AESPA lore, there's a lot to their story, okay? So I'm actually looking forward to learning a little bit more about AESPA and how their avatars are doing, or how they're doing, how they got to Epic 7 world, right, to Orbis. So we'll see how that goes. But we are getting a new 5-star artifact with the side story, which is POS, and this at the end of the turn increases attack by 2%, critical hit chance by 2%, and critical hit damage by 2%, can stack up to 10 times. This artifact actually seems really strong, so I highly recommend picking this up. This looks really strong for PvE, right? When you do want to deal a lot of damage, you need a lot of stats, right? So definitely an artifact that you don't want to pass on. We're also getting Nevis's butterfly, which is 3-star pet. I'm pretty sure the skills are going to be random, so who knows if we'll get S in those, but I think it'll just be RNG, right? Some background packs. We're getting an equipment set, of course. It's level 78, right? You know, every time we get level 78 gear, I say the same thing. You know, just give us level 88 gear, you know, at least. Why? Like, nobody can use 78 gear. Even if you're just starting, this gear is probably not going to roll that great, and you're going to outgrow this gear super fast. But it looks like they're giving us attack and protection set. I mean, maybe you can get really good RNG and get some nice rolls and maybe use it as a filler piece, maybe for the protection set, but it's a free protection set, I guess. It is the subs that you want: HP, speed, defense, effect res. The ring for some reason has crit chance, so we'll see how that goes. But the boots at least are speed, there's crit chance in there, there's effectiveness. I mean, I think that's fine, you know, effectiveness, effect res, as long as they don't slap both of them on here. But even then, you know, it might even be better than putting crit chance on there, because whoever has protection set, you want them to be insanely tanky, be able to survive for a very long time, potentially not get debuffed as well. So we'll see how that goes. But we are getting the new 5-star winter AESPA collab unit. She is dropping. We probably will be doing a separate video talking about her skills, going in depth, but she does look kind of strong, you know, just from initial looks. Like I said before, I always recommend pulling at least one of each unit, one of each, especially if they're limited, and then a collaboration unit, right? Because you never know when this collab is going to come back. You don't know if it might be back next year, but you're at least going to have to wait a year, right? But the artifact that she's dropping with also looks really strong. It kind of reminds me of like Para, right? Where she gets that barrier based on her level, but this increases critical hit chance by 15%. So it's just a built-in 15% crit chance. And then after using a non-attack skill, grants a barrier equal to 60 per level for 2 turns. So we'll see if we're able to pull this artifact as well, because it's going to be rough. There's no guaranteed pity for artifacts, so picking up the hero and the artifact can be a bit tough, but she is going to be dropping on November 24th. So after the maintenance, she'll be here, and she's going to be here until December 8th. So we're going to be able to pick her up with Covenant bookmarks and the AESPA collaboration bookmarks. So you will get to use those before Covenant bookmarks, and I believe they're giving us, I think, like 30 free just from logging in, and then we'll probably get some more from like the side story and stuff. So I'm thinking they're probably going to give us enough to pull at least, let's be optimistic and say at least one of the collab units for free with those bookmarks, but I don't know. That seems like a stretch, right? They'll at least give us maybe like a 10 pull or something like that. But we'll see. We're also getting the lobby type changing. So they did tease this when they showed us all of the revamps and updates that were coming to Epic 7. And one of them was the lobby, being able to change the lobby. So it looks like we will be able to change it from a character to an illustration. So you can kind of pick and choose. I kind of like the AESPA collaboration background. I think that one looks kind of cool. But you know, goodbye Garo. It looks like we'll still be able to access them on the left hand side, so we'll see how this goes. But you know, I like seeing my units. Maybe if there's a way to have this like change throughout, maybe every time you log in it changes to a different thing, right? Like it shuffles or something. Maybe one of them is the lobby, one of them is an illustration, a character, right? Something like that, instead of just keeping it static forever, because then you have to go back in and manually change it. So we'll see how that plays out. Zio is going to be dropping the new 5-star unit. We will be pulling him as well. I think he's going to be a unit that you don't want to pass on. But if you're not sure, if you're kind of on the fence about him, maybe you don't have enough mystic metals, you can always wait to see how he plays out in Epic 7. But you know, he does seem really strong against anti-cleave, or as an anti-cleave unit, right? But you'll be able to pick up his Dark Coffer, which is his imprint from the shop, so be able to buy that. We're also getting 3 new exclusive equipment, and so these units here, I don't know. You know, I took a quick look at them, and nothing really stands out. You know, Assassin Cidd, okay, like I get giving him an exclusive equipment, make him just slightly better, but Kanna and Fire Haste, like who uses these units, right? Who uses these units? Maybe Kanna, Fire Expo, but like Haste, right? When there are so many other units that they could have brought an EE for. But let's take a look at Haste EE. So his is Blood Choker, critical hit chance up to 12%. He can now increase combat range of the caster by 15%. The second EE here has a 75% chance to inflict bleeding on the target for 2 turns, and then his Vampiric Seal decreases cooldown of Vampiric Seal by 1 turn. So nothing too crazy. He did get some buffs to where he has like I think like an AoE defense break, but after his buffs, I never saw him. So it's kind of like a Ran substitute, right? Like when you can't pick Ran, you could potentially pick him, but there are plenty of other units that you might want to throw that speed gear on and then Fire Haste here. 5-star bomb model Kanna, right? Full PvE unit, of course, giving her effectiveness on the EE up to 16%. So her quick bombardment has a 50% chance to make the target unable to be buffed. Her passive here is going to increase speed and dual attack chance of stance shift by an additional 5%. And then her full bombardment, which is her S3, I believe, makes the target unhealable for 2 turns. So I think probably her passive, right? That additional 5% speed and dual attack chance is going to make her probably like even better in expos. But I mean, as long as you can clear expos, right? You don't need to put up massive numbers. 4-star Acid. Okay, so Acid is a unit that for the longest time I could not build because he does take speed gear, some pretty decent speed gear, right? And when I finally was able to build him, he is a monster. So if you can put speed gear on him with some crit damage, he is going to put in work. Now, the EE that they gave him is effective. So he does have a silence, I believe, and a pushback on his S3. So effectiveness, I think it's fine for him. It would have been too broken to give him a speed EE. Probably so, right? That would have made him probably the fastest unit in the game or something like that. But his slice here increases Slice's chance to decrease defense by 10%. That, I believe, is his S1. His passive here, when an enemy dies, grants increased attack, greater attack, instead of increased attack to the caster. So when a unit dies on the opposing team, he gets greater attack buff, which is kind of nice, right? Allows him to actually finish off additional units after he S3s, and then he cycles back and gets another turn because he doesn't really do too much damage on his S1. That's the only thing I don't like about him, is his damage on the S1 is very lacking. He's not going to kill with the S1 or finish really anything off if they're tanky, right? His S3 execution, this is the one that we talked about with that silence and the pushback. So this now dispels one buff from the enemy when using execution. So this effect is applied before inflicting silence. So he can strip now, right? He can strip immunity into silence pushback, which is pretty strong, right? Because his biggest thing is if he outspeeds, but the entire team has immunity, you're screwed, right? You can't do anything other than just hope for the kill potentially, but now he can strip silence. It's not too bad. I think that gives him a little bit more utility. I think that's probably that one or his Gab, right? He has built-in Gab now with the EE. The thing about his Gab is he doesn't get it until someone dies. So even if he kills on the S3, if let's say he goes turn 1, he kills on the S3, he's not going to get a Gab until the next turn that he goes. So I think you might get more value out of the execution where he strips. But along with that, we're getting the Krau and Holy Sacrifice drop rate ups. Krau, still a very solid unit. I think one of the only units in the game to still be the same from point of launch of Epic 7 up until now. I don't think he's ever gotten any buffs or nerfs or anything like that. He can definitely use an EE. I think in this current state of the game, in this current meta, he could use a slight tweak. That's what I was hoping to see. Maybe like an EE for a Krau, right? Give him something different to make him a bit more viable in RTA, right? I still see him a lot in GVG, especially for offense against Rimarus, right? But a unit that you can completely pass on, even though he is a really strong unit. Holy Sacrifice is another artifact that is also really strong, but you're going to be saving your bookmarks for the collab heroes. Now, if you do end up pulling the collab hero soon, winter, right, you're still going to want to save for the rest of the units. Now, keep in mind, we will be getting special bookmarks, which are going to drop in the form of a check-in event. Like I mentioned, I think we'll probably get some more for the side story, but the check-in event is going to allow us to pick up, I think, up to 30 of these special collaboration bookmarks. And I think you can use one. I think one counts as one summon. So I'm thinking maybe like 30 summons, right? But this is going to last for 7 days from the start. So from November 24th, you have 7 days to check in every day and pick up those bookmarks. We'll see exactly how these bookmarks work. I don't know if it's going to be like a special like side banner or if it's just like another form of currency that you use, right? like instead of using bookmarks, you just use the collaboration bookmarks. But other than that, we do have a free Unequip event starting on November 24th. So you get to try out Winter, and the password is Emperor Zeo. So make sure you get your 3 leaves and 300k gold. But that's going to be it for me. Let me know your thoughts about this upcoming collaboration. Are you excited for Zeo? Are you excited for Winter and any of the other units? We'll probably do a bit more of an in-depth into the collab units, just to look at their skills and their kits and see if they're actually going to be viable. But again, thank you for watching. If you happen to enjoy the video, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hey, think about subscribing. It really helps the channel grow and reach more people like you who like content like this. Like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.